playback singing journey?
I didn't know that I would become a playback singer. I mean, I had major anxiety, depression.
How did you manage to get into this space?
That was very difficult because I didn't have any support. Harris Gerard, so I think I like performing on stage.
How did the industry accept you?
परेशान हो रहा.
Good afternoon, Vishnupriya. Thank you so much for joining us on this channel today. We wanted to talk to you about your playback singing journey, basically. So you started getting into this field of music at the age of 9, is that right?
So I started learning music when I was 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learning from the age of 9, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell us what made you get interested in this field? You were young back then, I get it.
So
but
back then I didn't have an option because my father, my entire family, nobody is into music or into media. I mean, they're all either lawyers or auditors.
Okay.
So for me, they just wanted me to learn an art.
Okay.
So they just thought, music would be a good choice.
Okay.
So that's how it just started. And I just it was never I mean, I didn't know that I would become a playback singer or take singing as my professional career.
Okay.
But then when I just started learning, and I just went with the flow, and I'm just here today.
So you're professionally trained in Carnatic,
Yes,
Hindustani,
I'm trained in
and
Carnatic music.
Carnatic music. So what was that moment that changed from just taking it as probably as a hobby when you started to a profession?
So I was not sure what I wanted to do because after college I was very confused what to do. I even enrolled in a law college because I didn't go, but I took the admission. I was very confused what to do. But then I was always inclined towards music. After a point, I started getting a lot of opportunities with respect to my recordings and stuff. Just a couple of years back, not too long.
Okay.
But 2019 was a breaking point. It's actually when I decided that okay, this is what I'm going to do no matter what. So since then there's no looking back. But then 2020 we had COVID, so 2 years nothing was happening. I mean, 1 year I would say nothing was happening. It was happening like we had virtual events and stuff, but nothing majorly was happening. And again, it kind of pulled down my confidence. And then after 2022, I mean, the last 2 years has been phenomenal. So,
Okay. So what exactly happened in 2019?
2019, I was just confused what to do, whether I want to go pursue BA or something, or whether I want to study further, or whether I want to move abroad. I was just very confused what to do in life, technically, whether to study or to get into a corporate job or actually do music, because it's a very difficult profession in terms of sustainability.
Yes.
Because you will be there today, but you may not be there tomorrow. So the constant hustle, the constant, how do I say, okay, you have to do this, you have to keep doing, inventing your craft, and you have to keep doing something or the other to be there firstly. So, and then you never know when you will actually get the break, or you never know what is going to happen technically. So it's just not like a corporate job where okay, 9 to 5 I have a job, I get salary, and it's not like that at all. So every day is like a challenge. You just have to do, and everything, it needs a lot of constant self motivation to be more honest. So yeah, that's how it kind of hit me, and and I decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
Okay, so coming from a background where you didn't have people in this industry, right? How did you manage to get into this space?
That was very difficult because I didn't have any support. My dad, I mean, although they knew few people in the industry and all, but nobody really helped or went out of their way to do something for me. So I did everything by myself. I think 2013, after I finished my college, So that's when I actually got an opportunity to be a part of a show called Manasu Totta Singer, and the winner will get an opportunity to sing for Anirudh. Because
Oh,
Anirudh,
okay.
I think the Why This Colibri had just released, and he was at his peak, and that was the thing. But I didn't win the competition, but I performed in the finals, and that's when a music composer called Siddharth Vipin,
Mhm.
who did a couple of movies like Idhar Katane Asapatai Balakumara. He did this Pallavan Kupulam, a couple of Tamil movies he has done. So I actually got an opportunity to meet him, and he wanted me to send my demos.
Mhm.
So, and he heard my voice, he liked it, and he called me for a recording. And I barely knew how to record, or I had no experience. And it was my first song that I recorded for him. And then slowly I started building contacts through my friends and my, who helped me, and to get in touch with people. And I kind of understood that you need to record a song, you need to show a demo to them. And then earlier, now it's very different. Social media is there everywhere, like you really don't have to reach out to anybody. They see your work and they come to you. But back then it was a challenge, so people don't know you, so you have to first establish your name, meaning you have to reach out to them, you have to send your stuff. If they like it, they'll call you. So, and there are so many singers, to be very honest. So for a song, they have to first remember your name, and then they have to call you. So it's very difficult.
Okay. Okay. How did your debut in playback singing happen?
So exactly. So through this, so he was the first one to give me a song, and then I sang for G.V. Prakash. I sang for a couple of composers like Hip Hop Tamara, and I started doing background score work for Rahman sir, and then yeah, I started working with all the other composers.
How did it feel meeting these people? Did you ever imagine
Well, I
that
think
you
I
will get to
think the
there?
best one was Harris Gerard sir, because I think I've been his mad fan, and I
Okay.
went to audition for his concert. It was very difficult. I didn't know that I'll get it, but yeah, but it was something that I'll always remember forever.
Okay.
So being his diehard fan, and working with him, and just, it was a big deal for me. So.
Okay. So you're now into playback singing and you perform on stage as well, right? What is it that you like more?
Uh, I think I like performing on stage more.
Why?
Because when you sing a song, you don't know whether it will reach out to people. Because there might be some songs will become a hit, some songs may not reach out to people, and it may not become a hit technically. But while performing on stage, so it's like you are like there giving them that instant happiness to 10,000 people, and at one shot. So it's like it's a different kind of high, I would say, because in a recording space, you and just the composer and the sound engineer will be there. But over here, you were like in front of 10,000 people, and even if a single something goes wrong, you'll be under constant pressure. So you will be more conscious, and you'll be more attentive, and all of that. So it's a very different thing. So altogether, both.
So you like that? You
Yeah.
enjoy that more?
I enjoy that more.
So you mentioned when you first started recording, you didn't know what it is like and how you do it. How did the industry accept you?
So my first recording happened for a jingle. It was for a radio station. My friend had referred my name, and I went to actually go and sing, and I didn't know anything, and I think I was paid 500 rupees. I still remember. This was in 2013. That's when I had finished college, and that was my first recording ever. So it was for Rainbow FM, and I sang I think they still play it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I heard it recently also. They still play it. That was my first recording, so I didn't know what DT means, all the technical stuff. I didn't know what it meant. And also to like stand in front of a mic and sing, like meaning like for in a recording studio, I had no idea how to do it. So I think the people over there were quite helpful when I told them that this is my first recording, and they said like he will help you out, and you have to like stand like this to sing like this. If you have something really high in a high pitch, you have to go a little back. If it's too
okay.
low, you have to come close to the mic. So all this they taught me, and what is DT, 3T, 4T, all of this, these technical stuff they taught me.
Okay.
So they were quite helpful.
Has it always been a very accepting industry according to you?
Uh Not really, because people tend to judge you, and initially when I used to go and record, my voice timbre was very low,
Okay.
so it was not perfect. I mean, it is not very, it is not as, it is not a voice which can like adapt to like different octaves.
Hmm.
So it was very difficult because I was initially called for all high pitch songs, but my scale is too low.
Hmm.
Then people were like, no, your scale is like it's too low. It's like you need to get there. And then so I also started understanding that to be there, you need to actually like practice a lot. You need to be very versatile and all of that. So I started working on the technical aspects of my vocal,
Mhm.
like meaning like in terms of practicing in high pitch, mid, low, everything. So yeah, that's when I actually like started that's what I started focusing on mainly.
Mhm.
So when I understood that, okay, this is a different ball game, so you need to first be there to be there.
Okay. With the rising talent around right now, because we have a lot of reality shows, a lot of talents coming almost every day. You have a lot of people in this industry. Also, this is a space that is built on commercial success. If you're successful, you keep growing. If you don't do well, I don't know how many times you're given the chance to keep coming back. Right? How do you maintain your authenticity in this space? Like this is you, and this is what I am, and this is what I can do, and how do you sustain with that?
So firstly, I don't get dejected when I get rejected, because I feel whenever I get rejected, I tend to put in more effort, because I feel that okay, somebody has not accepted, then which means I need to work 100 times harder to be there. So I don't see this as a one-time thing; it's a
Hmm.
journey,
Hmm.
because you may not be relevant now, but you may always be relevant after 2 years. You might be relevant now, but you may not be relevant after 2 years. So it's like anybody can go up, anybody can go down in the
Hmm.
industry,
Hmm.
I feel. Because because suddenly one song might click that you may not think that it may do well,
Hmm.
and you might become like from nobody to somebody.
Hmm.
So, and you might be someone, but you might just vanish because
Hmm.
of,
Hmm.
so it's, I think, a journey, constant hustle, and you need to keep putting in effort to be there always.
What is your mental state when you face that rejection? Like you mentioned that you go back and work, right? But over years, to keep that motivation over years, what keeps you motivated in this space?
So, like I said, 2019 till 2019, whenever I used to get rejected, I used to come cry. I always used to think that, okay, this is not my thing. I think I need
Uh-huh.
to start focusing on other stuff. But after the breaking point, I decided that, okay, this is what I'm going to do no matter what. That's when I decided that whenever I'm going to get rejected, I'm going to work 100 times harder, because I've already decided that this is my path.
Hmm.
So, there is no looking back.
Okay.
So when I decide that this is what I'm going to do, then you shouldn't look back, right? So I think that is the thing. So there is no end to it. You just have to keep working, working, working. So it's a lot of self motivation. Like I said, you might be there today, you may not be there tomorrow,
Mhm.
but you shouldn't worry about the results. You just have to keep working, and one day it will happen.
Okay. Um, who has been your biggest inspiration in this space?
That's a very difficult question, because I think I take inspiration from everyone. Like,
Okay.
for example, if I see a positive trait in you, I'll first try to like see how I can adapt to myself. So how I can like take that and start incorporating, and I think there is just not one person. I think it's just everybody, because everyone has a good thing, and we should just observe only the good things from somebody and just leave all the negative stuff.
Very diplomatically
Yeah.
answered. Nice. Okay. So moving on, I have a question with respect to your recent 2 years. You've been doing a lot of shows. You've been into this. You're seeing success, is what you're saying, right? have there been instances where you felt that you're not getting the recognition that you deserve?
Oh yeah,
Now,
so many
at-
times, so many times, because just so many times when I felt like I could have done a song so much better than, not to criticize anybody, but you know your worth, right? So you can always feel that, okay, if I had given this opportunity, I could have also done this, or I could have done much better. So I've always had that thing. Yes, for sure.
and how do you take it?
I just feel that, okay, some karma or something has given them that opportunity, so we should also get there. I am competitive, but I'm very like, I don't get jealous, but
Hmm.
I'm very competitive, and I never get jealous, like, because I feel like what's meant for you will always come to you no matter what. But uh I always feel that, okay, if somebody is there, then we should also get there.
Hmm.
So whether they got the opportunity by luck or recommendation, anything it can be, but still they are getting that opportunity.
Hmm.
So we should also get there, is what I always take it.
So with all the success you've seen over the last couple of years, how do you keep yourself grounded? Now it's all about people recognize you, right? It's not like before. Now people know you by face. So how do you handle that fame? That's one question. And with that, how do you keep yourself calm and grounded?
I think I'm always like somebody who's always very easily approachable, and you can always like
can say
talk
that.
to me. So I'm not somebody, because I feel like when you die, you're like nobody anyways. And people will always remember you for what you do to them, and how you treat them, to
Mhm.
be very honest. So I feel like that's the only thing that you should always keep in mind, that when you die, at least two people should cry for you. That's what I always tell everybody. Leave your mother, father, your friends, and everybody, but somewhere some good thing you would have done for somebody, and they will definitely remember that, and they should cry for you. So
Keeping that context out.
so I always think only that in mind.
Okay, okay. In a space where you have so many songs, right? It's a very wrong question to ask, but I still want to ask you, which is your most favorite song?
Oh yeah, but it's a very difficult question. But I think I really love the song "A Hairate Ashiki" from Guru, and
Yeah.
it's by Rahman sir. It is one of my favorite rag, and whenever I hear that song, there's always like the constant joy that comes to my mind, my heart, everything, and just I love that song so much. It's such a beautiful song. So it's
Do you
one
want to
of
put
my
out
favorite.
your version of it?
I've sung that so many times in
Now
my
again,
shows and
please.
stuff. Yeah, okay. है हैरते आशिकी जरा मैं पैरों से जमी जमी लगा मैं है हैरते आशिकी ओ हैरते आशिकी.
What according to you has been the best moment on stage for you? Best performance or best moment?
Uh, Not best, but I think when I sang with Simbu and Yuvan sir on stage in Malaysia, I think that was really nice, because, like, I didn't know such a thing would ever happen in my life. So I'm always grateful to perform with an actor and a composer on stage at the same time. And I think I had about 2, 3 songs with both of them. So on stage in that particular concert. So yeah, that's something that I would always remember for sure.
Was that a planned one or with Simbu and?
No, meaning they planned it. So it was their thing, because I think the songs.
I meant to ask if it was an impromptu on stage where this
No,
joined and performed, or
It was not like that. It was a planned one, and I very well knew that it's going to happen.
Okay. So have you had impromptu things happening on stage as well? I'm
Not really.
doesn't happen, is it?
Yeah, not. It doesn't happen mostly.
Okay. Have you had any embarrassing moment on stage, you would want to put it
Yeah,
out?
because I think when I performed with Vijay Antony sir, and I think my mic stopped working. I mean, that can possibly happen, but it didn't work at all. And then there was somebody who came and gave me the mic, and then my ears was not working, and then it was then I obviously it was very difficult because in front of so many people you're like it's kind of embarrassing, and more than embarrassing it's just that it builds up more pressure when you're performing. So and then they quickly came, gave me another mic, then they helped me with the bell pack and all of that. So such things can always go wrong, on a technical level. So
Does that pressure, how do you handle
so
those
I
moments?
mean, the only way you can handle is actually just be calm and just pretend like nothing has happened, because if you keep
Okay.
thinking about it, then it will build up
Affect.
more pressure. So
Okay. You've also been part of the jury in Zee Saregama, right?
yes, yes,
Can
yes.
you speak about that experience?
So it was a very wonderful experience because I think I had a lot of learning,
Okay.
meaning, to see other talents, how they are singing, and where they are going wrong, where they are doing better. So you can always take inspiration from everybody, like I said, and I loved being a part of it because it was just like everyday learning, like the kind of motivation I get after I sit and listen to them an entire day, and then the next day when I have to do something, I'll always be like, okay, they are there. No, we need to get better. We need to become like this. If somebody sings better than us, you'll always have to take the inspiration. You have to be inspired by them, and you have to only get better instead of getting jealous, I feel.
So that doesn't come in as a threat for you ever in your mind?
Never.
I know
You are
they're
who
just
you
starting,
are.
but
No, no, not like that. Nothing like that. But you are who you are always, right? So
Mhm.
you have to only think about yourself.
Would you want to quote any memorable moment there during the season? Has there been any performance that you've carried back and you remember that?
Well, everybody sings well. So I think it's just that you have to take only the good things and
Okay.
go back.
Okay. What would you like to tell people who want to pursue music as their profession?
I think learning is number one, like practice and learning. First, you have to learn the craft, which will help you a lot when you actually get an opportunity. Because suddenly, when you get an opportunity, and if you're not there, like you're not like equipped yourself,
Mhm.
then it becomes very difficult for you to crack it. So you lose the opportunity. You never know when you get the opportunity. So first, you have to put in effort to get better in what you do, like
Mhm.
learn, practice, get inspired by people, put that into your, learning, and that's what I think is number one. I feel for anybody.
Okay. Uh, for those people who want to pursue music, right now we do have a platform for reality shows, but keeping that aside to put forward your talent, what else can people do to get into this space?
I think social media.
Okay. Is
So
that
social media is like number one because, like I said, like earlier it used to be like you have to approach
look for
them
people?
for opportunity. It is still like that, but still, if you're really good and people recognize you
Hmm.
through social media platforms, you are given the opportunity some
Mm-hmm.
way or the other, either singing, or maybe if you look good, they might call you for acting, or you might become an influencer. Anything is possible these days. So
Okay.
it's just the effort that you have to take.
Okay. To wrap this up, I have one question. What are your uh, tips to maintain voice for those or those who want to pursue this also?
I
What do
think
you
I'm
do
the
to maintain?
wrong person to ask because I literally abuse my voice. I shouldn't say this. Don't be like me because I mean, actually, I used to be.
So when you
I
say
was not
abuse, what do
like
you
that.
mean?
I was not like that, but I abuse meaning, for example, you have a concert
Hmm.
today and tomorrow, and you keep talking all the time, and then you go for the concert again, you come back and you keep talking, and then the next day also you keep talking, you go for the concert, you come back, so your voice is strained.
Hmm.
You talk, you sing, you shout, you just abusing it more and more and more.
Hmm.
You should give voice rest. you should drink warm water. Okay, warm water is something which I always do, like invariably. But then this talking part, sometimes going out with friends, when loud music is played, you tend to speak more than your actual voice, and you tend to,
Mhm.
your voice gets affected because of that.
Okay.
And so all of these factors actually accumulate. And also sometimes when you have back to back shows, I feel you shouldn't take it, or you should be very careful and mindful about other things, like for example, just go perform and come back. In between this talking and like shouting more than your, and then jumping, all of this will accumulate and it will just like fuck up with your voice. So
Hmm.
you have to give that rest, and you have to give that, yeah, you have to rest.
Rest.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
have to rest your voice for sure.
okay. Can you just sing two lines of any of your favorite songs? Yours.
Okay, I'll sing this song called Pareshanura from Dhruva movie, and it's Telugu song. So పరేషానురా పరేషానురా ప్రేమన్నదే పరేషానురా పడితే మరి పడుకోదురా పని పాటని పడనీదురా ప్యారులో పడిపోతే పరేషానురా ప్యారులో న్యూసెన్స్ శురువాయిరా ప్యారులో ప్రతి మలుపు తీపారురా ప్యారులో ప్యారులో దో దిల్ కి ఫైట్ ఉందిరా.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Actually,
your time
I
also.
memorize lyrics in Hindi, Punjabi, Kannada, Telugu, all the other languages other than Tamil. Although Tamil is my mother tongue.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's also one challenge. To memorize lyrics in your own mother tongue is also difficult because you know the language and you take it
Uh-huh.
for granted. So
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you so much, Vishnupriya. Thanks for your time.
thank you so much. Annabella Conjuring, எல்லா நம்பர் ஃபாரின் பே அது உந்தன் நம்பரை சொல்லி தினமும் சேவன் ட்ரிங் 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 அசைக்கனா ஆடிட்டிங் மிஸ் எல்லாம் ரிப்போர்ட்டிங் காஃபி ஷாப் தேவை எல்லா கல்லறைக்கு வாடேட்டிங் அச்சோ 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 அச்சம் அச்சம் அச்சோ நிச்சமுள்ள மச்சமெல்லாம் பத்திக்கிச்சோ ஹே அச்சோ 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 அக்கம் பக்கம் அச்சோ ஆவியுதா பாபிக்கிட்ட சிக்கிக்கிச்சோ.